morning, guys. Yeah, if anyone's unaware, daylight savings, so technically it is 7 o'clock right now, but now it's 8 o'clock. So we lost an hour of sleep. So if anyone's tired this morning, that's why. Good morning. So this week, big Fed week. Just sort of getting my bearings here, getting a feel for what's going on so far this morning. So far, that if you guys were on the stream last night, thanks to anyone that stopped in yesterday. You're still getting that entire Nasdaq pop that happened last night when we were on the stream has faded away, and we talked about how that's a hard one to trust. And look at that, so crazy. So we pushed higher last night, and we have faded that entire move to the upside on the Nasdaq, and it makes me believe that there's a number in mind that I think we're going to move back down to 13,000 on the NQ. That maybe happens today. But then again, we got to watch out for Wednesday, right? So we'll talk a little bit about what I expect from the market maybe over the next 2 days before the Fed meeting, some levels to watch on the futures, and then some stocks that I think you can play to the downside still, particularly these Chinese names. JD, Baba, Baidu, they're getting crushed, man. And they continue to get crushed. So let's take a look at those. So today, futures as always. First of all, welcome everyone. Thanks for being here again. Futures as always, economic earnings calendar. Baba, Baidu, JD. All three of these names have been getting really badly beaten down, especially over the last 2 days, Thursday, Friday, as well as this morning, So let's watch these again for downside. I really don't see how they hold up. I think this is good. These are three good names to watch for downside today. I would definitely be focused on them. So Baba, BIDU, and JD, guys. Let's take a look at those. Oil continues to slip. We continue to see downside on oil. I believe it is down like 5% right now. It's down about 4.68%. So just about 5%, down to $104 a barrel. So we'll take a look at that. Talk about Dash, Bumble, and Coinbase. 3 put options that I am currently in. I'm sorry if this is repeat for some of you guys if you were here last night, but I figured I'd go over those trades again just real quick to show you why I'm in them and the opportunity that's there. FedEx, this was a ticker that was brought up to me in the stream last night. I really like this setup, and I want to show you guys the FedEx rejection. That could be a pretty nice play. CRM, a stock that just continues to just fail on the 20 SMA, like a lot of other names. I want to share it with you guys today. And when I short those, they'll pop. Yeah, I mean, I would just continue to take your small chances, small shots when you have them. That's what I've been doing so far. It's been working out. I'm sure one time, when we start to try to catch the downside rejections, it'll pop and we'll lose, but that's part of the game. We're always going to take losses. Apple back to 150. I think this is probably looking like where we could potentially move back to on Apple if the Nasdaq continues to be weak. So I would definitely watch Apple towards that 150 level. Baba, I don't think I changed that. I didn't mean to put Baba. What did I mean to put there? Shoot. I forgot what ticker I meant to put in that. We'll look at something else at that point. I don't think it was Baba. If it comes to me, I'll remember. I'm trying to remember what it was. All right, we'll just leave that open for you guys to take a look at. Whatever we want to look at. We might as well just look at Tesla there, right? Let's just look at Tesla at the last spot there. And then finally, Upstart bear flag. This is a pretty interesting setup as well. Upstart broke out of a really big bear flag on the daily chart, on the 4-hour chart, and if the market continues to be weak, you're right. It was Boeing. Thank you, Kevin. That was Boeing. That's correct. All right. Kevin knows. Joshua knows too. Yeah, it was Boeing. BA rejection. That's what I meant to put, not Baba. All right, we'll do Boeing, and then we'll do Upstart, and then we'll open it up. We'll talk a little bit about the market. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm not going to try to be here all day today. Let's stay focused. Let's keep it going, and let's get out of here early. So, Nasdaq, very easy, guys. We talked about it last week, right? It's pretty clear. Why did we move lower last week? It's perfect. I mean, it's a perfect rejection. Right here, 14.8, 13.8, 1, 2, 3. Love it. That was just perfect. If we're not above 13.8, I would not look for upside. Very easy level to sort of keep your mind focused on which direction this market is going. If when you're in the short-term time frames, remember what the long-term time frame is telling you. Long-term time frame is extremely weak, and it's showing nothing but downside. So I would look for rejections more than anything. I would not look for high day breakouts. I would not look for big time resistant breakouts. Like, that's not the type of trade that I would be looking for right now. I'd be looking for pops to the upside that become weak, that you can fade back to the downside. And that's happening on a ton of stocks. So 13.8, huge rejection last week. I'm thinking we need to see this 13,000 come in if the market continues lower today. I think 13,000 is probably a level where we're going to want to test. If I go to the daily chart, we can see that this was a monster level from back here in May of last year. I think we probably want to at least tap that. We can see we have not gotten over the 20 SMA since January 5th, guys. January 5th was the first day that we dropped below the 20 and the last day that we traded above it. If you ignore this little pop right here, which is just sort of nonsense. January 5th, every other day, every trading day has been trading below the 20 SMA. Now, how easy does that make it? It makes it very easy if you stay disciplined, right? As long as the Nasdaq is below the 20, I would be thinking that you have a higher probability of taking downside plays. I think the probabilities are in your favor. The statistics are in your favor if you look for downside in a market that is trending to the downside, right? That's my focus, and that's where I'll stay. That's where I'll continue to be focused in this market until I see a shift. So, below the 20, below 13.8, we're looking for downside. I'm staying with the trend of this market, and I'm not going to fight it. So 13,000 to the downside today, guys. 13.8 to the upside. We're in a range, and right now, Nasdaq looks weak to me. If nothing changes, then I would expect maybe a little bit of slippage or just a lot of chop over the next 2 days before the Federal Reserve meeting. So if you guys are unaware, this Wednesday, we have the Fed funds rate that will be decided, or at least it will be announced. That is on Wednesday of this week. I did not know we have some 1-year inflation expectations, 3-year inflation expectations. This may have some effect today, 11 a.m. So watch out for that today at 11 Eastern time. So watch that. That's pretty interesting. I don't know if I caught that yesterday. Tuesday, producer price index. And then Wednesday, guys, is the big day. Retail sales, FOMC announcement on federal funds rate. Jerome Powell news conference. This is pretty massive. And my expectation is there's going to be a lot of eyes waiting for this at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. And I think maybe a little bit of low volume until then. We're either going to see a 0% change, a 0.25% change, 0.25 or 0.5 in my opinion. I think most people believe it's 0.25. There's some people on the hawkish side which believe it could be 0.5. And I think very little people think it's 0%. I think we need to change. I don't think we can sit at 0. If we does 0, maybe the market sees an upside reaction, but I would be very hesitant to trust that because there's no way we can stay at 0 for much longer, even if we do that. So that'd be crazy for me to see. I'd be shocked. 0.25 would be what's priced into this market, I believe. We could start to be seeing the market price in a little bit higher. I'd have to look at what the market is expecting. But 0.25 would be at least a good step in the right direction. Market may take that positively. I'm not quite sure. It's either going to take it positively or we don't do much. I don't think the market will fall off a 0.25 increase. I think the market has priced that in. 0.5, pretty hawkish, a little bit on the hawkish side. That's probably where you see a little bit of a negative reaction, maybe. So this is very interesting. I'm not going to be someone that's going to be taking plays into it, that's trying to forecast or foresee the future. That's not really that's not my trading strategy. I don't try to guess what happens in the future. I'm just going to understand what the effect could be and monitor what happens. So that's Wednesday, guys. That's huge. That could change everything. I mean, everything we talk about right now could be totally irrelevant on Wednesday, right? We have to know that. All right. ES. Huge rejection at 4,300 on Friday. Perfect. Very clean. You know, when I see rejections, it makes me sort of comfortable because I know the levels that the market's respecting, right? That makes our job as traders a little easier because at least we know the levels and at least we know the market is respecting it. So what's the level on the ES? It's 4,300, right? Right here. Rejection. If the if the ES is below 4,300, then I am looking for rejections. So right now we are below 4,300. Big rejection on Friday. Sort of trading in this little range. If we go to the daily chart, we can see we are trading below the 20. We have not traded above the 20. The same exact thing since January 5th. Actually, you know what? Yeah, January 5th, first day down. We broke down, came back up, rejected the 20 again, came back up, rejected the 20 again right here, back on the 11th, which was that was on Friday. Another 20 SMA rejection. And if you put a gun to my head here and said, which direction do you think this goes? I would just go with the trend, guys. I would just go with the trend. So my assumption would be we try to move back lower, maybe back towards these lows, maybe 4,100. After a very clean 20 SMA rejection, it looks like every time we get a push higher, we get a lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So that's what I'd be looking for in this market. I would continue to look for it until something drastically changes because of some macroeconomic event. All right. The Dow is slightly stronger today, so let me make sure to preface that. The Dow is slightly outperforming. The Dow is actually up 0.6% today, whereas the Nasdaq is down 0.22. So we are getting, let me make sure everyone knows this, we are seeing a little bit of rotation this morning. So let's keep an eye on that today. I think that's something that you want to focus on. Keep the Dow up, keep the Nasdaq up, see what the difference is there, because right now there's a pretty big difference. The Dow is up 200 points and the Nasdaq is red. So something is there that's causing a little bit more sympathy on some of these Dow names. The banks are up slightly. Boeing's up. The retail's up a little bit. It looks like financials are driving this higher Dow move right now a little bit. You got Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citibank, Bank of America, XLF, all higher. It looks like the maybe the healthcare is up a little bit. You got UNH green, AbbVie green. Yeah. So it looks like healthcare financials a little bit strong here. UNH is a big part of the Dow, and so is Goldman. So I think that's probably why you're up a little bit. So is Boeing, which is also green. So a little bit of market rotation on the Dow. Let's see if that sticks today. I would be very careful, but let's keep an eye on it, right? At least let's keep an eye on it. So same exact thing here, guys. Huge rejections at previous support. That's a really nasty rejection on Friday. Support. Huge rejection right here. And 20 SMA. And that just shows me that there could be more downside. So if you want to see if Dow can go higher, you need to break this level right here, 33,500 today, guys. We are green, but this is this is nothing that makes me believe that the Dow actually can do something here. We're slightly green, but that's not anything that would make me, get into anything to the upside. So just be careful. We are green, but it's pretty small in when you zoom out and look at it over the last week. So watch 33.5 on the Dow. That's what I'd be watching, guys. I hope that makes sense for the futures. It's pretty simple. To be quite honest, the levels make a lot of sense, and we just got to continue to trust the levels. 2100 on the Russell, just until then, stop looking at it, basically. It's doing nothing. Small caps are doing nothing. 13.8 on the Nasdaq. 4,300 on the SPY. And finally, 33.5. Got something in my throat, man. on the Dow. So that's the futures. That's what I'd be watching. Downside, in my opinion, would be the safer bet. Okay. Baba. So we got some news. Just continued pressure out of China. Hold on, guys. I'm getting all messed up here. I don't know why. Something's in my throat. All right. Feel better. What do we got going on? So Alibaba, JD, 10-cent tumble. Chinese stocks are under pressure. So Chinese stocks tumbling Monday, extended sell-off last week, pressures on multiple fronts, including COVID-19, locks down in China, and regulatory threats on both sides of the Pacific. So we're just getting some bad news out of China, and you guys can see what happened over the last few days on Baba. Look at this. Look at this downside on Baba over the last few days. Thursday and Friday, crazy. Really nasty stuff. Where are we at now? I mean, this is getting a little ridiculous for Baba. Let's see here. All right. Holy crap. I mean, I would not be surprised to see Baba at $60 a share. I got to be quite honest with you guys. I don't see what is stopping Baba from getting to this 57 low. I don't know what would. So that's what I would be looking for. I'd be looking for downside. Look at what happened on Baba every time it touched the 20 SMA in the weekly chart. Rejection, 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 downside. So maybe we get another 20 SMA touch. If we do, I'll be putting a good amount of size into a rejection on Baba. If I see another fake 20 SMA bounce, I would definitely be looking for something here. So definitely watching Baba today, guys. This stock is very weak. Look at it in the pre-market. Huge downside, gap down. Maybe we get a gap fill. If that's maybe that's what you get. Maybe you get the gap fill if you see any strength at market open. If you get this gap fill from overnight, that's a fantastic put entry because it's a very easy stop loss. You put it right over that gap fill. If not, you play it back to the downside. Baba definitely would be on watch. Chinese stocks in general. JD. Remember we talked about JD back towards 50? Look at this. Look at this ridiculous breakdown on JD. Huge level here at 62. And what a move. What a move to the downside. Bad earnings. Just Chinese weakness. Huge weekly candle with some really large volume. We pulled up if you guys remember, we pulled up the volume profile. Right? Remember we did this? And we said, where do we think JD can move to? Where does the volume actually start to pick up? And in my opinion, I don't think there's support until around this $40 level. So I think JD probably moves to 40. If Chinese weakness continues, I think this stock is going to be coming down to $40 a share, right around here. This is where volume picks up. This is where support comes in. Look at this gap in volume, guys. Look at that gap in volume. This is the weekly chart right now. So this is pretty zoomed out. If you guys can't see it, I'll get it zoomed in here tomorrow on the top left up here. If you can't, I don't have that right now, but if you look up here in the top right, I know it's small. You probably can't see it. If you can, that's the time frame. WK is weekly. I will get it zoomed in for you guys tomorrow. I'm sorry about that. So just look at this gap. Look at this little, little bell curve, if you want to call it. This is the end of the bell curve. Here's the top of the bell curve. So you can see there's sort of like bell curves, right? Where's the distribution, right? That's what a bell curve is. It's distribution. So if the distribution is low in this area, then I would expect there to be little to no support. So I'm thinking 40. I would watch JD. It would be a great, I think, downside play today. Next, BIDU. Let me take off the volume profile because it's not really showing us much here. Here is BIDU, guys, and it's another Chinese name on the weekly chart that's just getting an absolute, crack of support. This is a huge level of support that is officially cracked under 135. You guys can see this. You have support. You have support. Look at that breakdown, guys. Really big breakdown. We are in a little bit of a tough area, I will say. This is a lot of chop here. That makes me not, quite sure of where this moves next. However, is that IPO? No, it is not. No, it is absolutely not. Why is Baidu still $112 a share? This might be a great play, guys. If we really get weak on the Chinese names, I mean, there could be some downside here. Where's March 2020? It's right around here. So if you think we moved back to virus levels on Chinese names, BIDU could move back to 95. And that's totally possible today, to be quite honest. That's only about $20 lower. That's about, it's a little bit advantageous. So maybe over the next week, we see maybe 95, 100. You guys can see this is a big breakdown. And I don't see much support until these lows, to be quite honest. And this is March lows. This is a virus 2020 lows. If we need to come back down to those levels, that would be right around 95 to 100. So overall, guys, whatever Chinese name I would watch it today. There's a lot of weakness over there. Baba, Baidu, JD. I would absolutely be keeping those on watch for either a fake pump. Like, don't just jump in today with the, your whole portfolio on puts. If there's any type of fake pump, that's a better entry. Look for maybe a fake push to the upside, something that's weak on low volume. See if you can fade that move. That would be fantastic. I would love to see upside on these stocks today and then fade those moves later this week. That would give us the biggest opportunity. So I would at least watch those. Oil. Daily chart on oil. Just, blow off top. Sort of perfect called that, but missed the entire opportunity. However, let's just keep an eye on it. Down 4% this morning. If we go to the 1 minute chart, you guys can see here is Sunday. This is last night when the futures opened. So the futures open around Sunday at 6 o'clock, right around here. And you can see that we traded down to about 6% to the downside in the futures market. We're recovering a little bit right now. But I would keep an eye on this oil move, guys. It is slipping again today. You're finally seeing some downside on CVX, a little bit of a gap down on CVX because of the oil move. USO, gap down on USO because of the oil move. And this is one that's actually been, keeping a little bit more consistent with oil prices. So this is a little bit more correlated. And then finally, XOM we can take a look at. XOM has gapped down as well because of the /CL oil prices. So let's see what happens at market open. It obviously could recover, but oil right now is down about 4%. These names, the oil company names like XOM and CVX, have been very, very resilient. It's crazy. Look at CVX, man. It has not even gone down. It's been green every single day still, even though the oil is about 15 to 20% lower. It's crazy. So CVX not the one to play. XOM's questionable. I would be looking at USO if you're looking to play oil. If you're trying to find something that's directly correlated, that definitely seems to be the one. Okay, My 3 trades that are open. We're going to go over these real quick, guys. First one is Bumble. Why am I in Bumble? Right here, you can watch my video last night for a little bit more in depth, but I am in it for a gap fill right here, guys. I see a big opportunity on the gap fill. You can see all the way back down to potentially around $15, $16 a share. I am looking for that gap fill to come in. We have a perfect 20 SMA rejection. Bumble's a stock that gapped up on earnings, and I don't think there is anything or any reason why Bumble should be higher. This is not a stock that I believe has a long-term lifespan in the stock market. I don't know why a dating app like Bumble is an IPO. I never understood it, so I am sort of biased here. But we'll see. I think they probably just they probably wanted to just cash in. If that was my opinion, I would do the same. If I created a dating app and I was able to get it on IPO, I would be the first in line. So that's my assumption as to why they did that. But it's going to be a harsh environment for that type of company. So I'm looking for the gap fill on Bumble. Let's see what happens. Next, we have DoorDash. DoorDash, really nice rejection that came in last week, guys. I love this rejection. Look at this. So you have previous support all right here, and it turned into resistance. So you broke down. You came back to retest, and what did you do on the retest? You rejected it to previous support as resistance. So I like that a lot. I think that gives me a lot of confidence in this play. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we can see that it's just a perfect previous support into resistance. Right here. Boom, 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 boom. Support, 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 support into resistance. Love that. Want to see this breakdown. If this stock does what it's been doing for the last, however long, then we should continue to drop to the downside. So that's Dash. I like that. The last one is Coinbase. Coinbase, really nice stuff. I'm looking for Coinbase to drop down below all-time lows. This is all-time lows on Coinbase, guys. I'm looking for the all-time low breakdown. Here's the weekly chart since IPO. And I am looking for the all-time low breakdown on Coinbase. I'm in puts. Now, why did I get into puts last week? I will go to the hourly chart for you guys to see. Here's why I got into puts last week. Because we gapped up. We gapped up here. I think it was because of Bitcoin strength overnight. We came back down, and I got into some puts looking for that gap fill, right? Now, we did move higher against my position. But what did we do? We just sort of filled the upside gap. Not quite to the perfect level, but we came very close to filling that upside gap. You can see right here. And we came up, filled that upside gap, and rejected. And now we have filled that downside gap. So I'm in puts from back on Thursday. I'm looking for more downside here. This is getting very close to all-time lows. And I would love to see that. So that's another play I'm in. So, guys, those are my 3 plays. Bumble, Coin, Dash, puts. I'll definitely look to add some stuff today if I feel comfortable. All right. FedEx. Are you okay? I don't know. It should be. All right, FedEx, guys. This is an interesting play. This is a play that was brought up to me by a member in the live stream yesterday. So, right here, guys, you can see. Really nice stuff. You have a support level around 220, right here, 220. You get a push higher, right? Come back down, you break 220. Now, you come back to 220, and what do? You reject it. Drop back down. You come back to 220, and what do? You reject it. And you reject it right there at the 20 SMA and previous support. So, I am interested in seeing if FedEx wants to reject this 220 level again and start to move back to the downside. I think this is a very key level of where FedEx is rejecting, and I think this is exactly the type of play that has been working for the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 2 months, 1 month, however long it's been. This play has worked out beautifully across the board. And you are right in the infancy stages of this rejection. So, I love this. I'm definitely looking to play this. If we stay below 220, I stay in the position. If we get above 220, I get stopped out, and I have insane risk to reward. If I go to the weekly chart, you guys can see that this is a really big level to reject, and look at the lack of support in this area. So I'm definitely interested. 220 rejection on FedEx. That's all I'll say. If you want to know when I get in, come hang out in the Discord chat. CRM. 20 SMA on CRM looks really strong. Looks like it's in charge. You guys can see right here. Look at this 20 SMA over the last since November. November of 2021, we have not traded above the 20. Rejection, 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 rejection. And it looks like, what do you know? Another potential rejection on Friday. If we break this little flag pattern, I'm thinking that we push down lower and move back towards lows of around 184. So I'm looking for this. We'll see what happens. If the Nasdaq continues to do what it's doing, then I think you move lower. I would like to remind everyone that, that doesn't really understand how market environment works. Everything that I have talked about over the last 30 minutes is 100% contingent on the market continuing to do what it has been doing. I'd like to remind everyone that if the market, by some reason, pushes higher because of Fed news, because something Jerome Powell says, because Russia-Ukraine stopped fighting, if that happens, which I cannot predict as a human being, if that happens, all of these downside plays will be wiped away, right? So this is what you have to understand when you're trading stocks, when you're trading options. I'd like everyone to remind yourself of that, because I think some people just get excited about, oh, this play looks good, I'm getting into it. Forget about risk management, throw it out the window. Nothing can go wrong. Please keep in mind that everything we talk about here can be wiped away in a matter of a minute because of the macroeconomic environment that we are trading in. Okay, with that said, if everything stays the same, CRM, 20 SMA rejection, looks like a great entry to me for downside. So I'm definitely going to be watching that. Apple. What chart are you using for the technical analyst? I am using a stock chart. I don't know. What do you mean, what type of chart? I switch it in between time frames. I'll try to say when I do, but right now we're on the daily. All right, so this is the daily on Apple. I'm always going to analyze charts on the daily 4-hour, guys. I don't use short-term levels for analysis. There's no reason. That's you don't want to get wrapped up in the short-term movements for longer-term analysis. All right, Apple daily chart 150. I think you're probably going to trade back to here, guys. If I had to be quite honest, if the Nasdaq continues to do what it's been doing, right, contingent on that, I would assume you trade back towards this 150. That would make a lot of sense to me. So previous resistance. You had a big breakout, and it looks like you're going to come back down into this level, in my opinion. So 150, that's what I'd be watching. That would be where I believe it looks like it's ready to come back down to. So 150, you got about $1.70. So about, what is that? It's about 2% potential downside here today on Apple. Probably could continue 1 or 2% more. I'm saying, watch that 150 area. So that's where I'd watch it down to. I think that's really the only next support level. BA. This is a nice rejection too, guys. Now, I know it's slightly higher today. Not really. I mean, the Dow's a little bit strong, so you got to be careful of the Dow strength here if you do play this downside. But this is Thinkorswim. Charts are Thinkorswim. I just can't ignore this beautiful rejection here. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, I want to show you guys. Look at how clean this is. This is some clean stuff. So we have support and support and support, right? 3 times in the last 3 months, we have found a bounce off of 185. Now, on Friday, what did we do at 185? We came back, we tapped it to almost $1 amount, and we had a nice rejection off that level. that means weakness, right? That is a bearish sign. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? That is, without a doubt, 100% bearish. Now, something crazy could happen. Jerome Powell, we could actually move to the left and up. Maybe that's possible now. We could go back into the future with the stock charts and start moving higher this direction, because anything is possible these days. Just kidding. But if I believe in an environment where everything stays the same and we continue to trade off of what is occurring here on the charts, this is a fantastic rejection and something that I would absolutely be looking to play. Because if this breaks down, let's say below these like 175 lows, let's say right around this area, there should be nice downside. We're going left and dividing by 0. So I would be looking for this breakdown. Absolutely. I think everything about this chart on the daily and 4-hour look bearish to me. This is a rejection that you did not want to see. So watch that. If you get stopped out, I would get stopped out over 185 if it does break above that, and I would look for the downside. That looks like a great rejection to me. All right, Upstart. This is another fantastic setup that I hope plays through, because it could be a very, very nice setup. Here is a beautiful bear flag on Upstart. Rejections at 160, uptrend which has been violated on Friday. Look at how beautiful this rejection candle is. Look at how great that breakdown candle is. I would love to see this follow through. This would be a very, very nice play. Today in the morning, we are officially below $100 a share, which could be a nice little catalyst to the downside. A little bit of a psychological type of effect on this stock. Maybe it pushes back into 100 and rejects today. That would be great. This is a, great technical, formation for downside. Everything about this right here. If you see this, this is like one of those one of those ads on Instagram that you see from someone that doesn't know what they're talking about, but at least they know that this is a technical formation that is bearish, right? That is just textbook right there. So that's good stuff. If it doesn't work out, I would be, it's just a scenario where you have to have risk management, because you can get into a play that looks so good and it still goes against you. That is always possible. However, when you see something like this, you get a little bit more willing to put on some risk, right? Because of how great the formation looks. So that's Upstart. That's a bear flag that I would love to play. Let's see what happens today. That's a really good looking chart. All right. That's what I have for you guys. If you guys want to look at some tickers yourself, or tickers that you want to look at, let me go ahead and pull up the members Google Docs real quick. Today is the 14th. Here we go. Oh, you guys already got it going. So we have enough there to already get it going. So let's just go ahead and do it. All right. So if you guys are a member of the channel, you make sure to remember you do have access to a Google Docs. And I'm going to put it in the members channel right now. All right, there we go. If you want to know about SoFi, go watch my video yesterday. It's towards the end. SoFi is a stock that everyone should stop looking at. And there's reasons why I know people are still looking at SoFi. And that's what I talked about yesterday. I'm not going to get into it again. All right, Roku. Here we go. So, yeah, you got Roku downside. I would totally agree with you. I would agree with everything here. The only thing I would go against, or I would caution you about, is that you were getting a little bit extended. However, the great entry was back here at 145 where we got in. Unfortunately, I sold early, which is a little upsetting. But we got back in at this rejection right here, which was just awesome. And I didn't expect it to do this so quickly, but it did. If you drop below 102.60, I would absolutely be looking for downside. Roku is a stock that will not find strength in a weak market. Put that in your mind. Roku is a stock that will not find strength in a weak market. It can't. It just can't. You know, there is just nothing here to help Roku out. I mean, look at this chart. So any pop you see on Roku, it would be a fade. It would be a fade trade. That's what I would do on any pop you see. I think you mean GLD, unless you actually mean gold, the ticker gold. This is just a macroeconomic trade, guys. You got to understand that, right? I would rather you look at GLD than this ticker. This is a ticker that I'd rather see you trade. But either way, gold is a macroeconomic trade, guys. I can't tell you what's going to happen here. It's the same as oil. You just got to keep an eye on what the overall macro trend is. If you start seeing tech push higher, if you start seeing concerns slow down, then I would say that gold and oil pull back. If you see war tensions continue, if you see people freaking out, then maybe these do continue higher. Let's see what happens on the Fed meeting. That could totally affect where gold moves. There's too many variables here for me to give you a correct analysis on GLD or on gold. Too macro level. There's too many external factors. I mean, I could tell you one thing and the next thing could happen in 20 minutes, right? It's not worth it. You don't trade gold, guys. You invest in gold if you want, gold is a hedge to your long term. If you want to hedge your long-term portfolio, if you want to hedge your equities, if you want to hedge your exposure to risky assets, you buy gold and you forget about it, right? You don't trade gold. You can, but obviously, I don't think that's the best way to do it. DWAC, guys, I'm going to skip this one, guys. DWAC is dying. I don't know, anything that... Let me make this very clear. If DWAC is to push higher, it is on nothing but momentum and day traders and short squeezes and manipulation and anything else. That is the only reason it pushes higher. And that is not something that anyone in the world can anticipate or know when it's going to happen. That is something that people see occurring and they jump onto the train, right? That is what this type of stock is. It's a momentum stock. What is momentum? It's when people, when a stock moves with momentum, it's when people are continuously buying in. Now, what has to happen for that to start? What is that? What starts the momentum train? The momentum train starts when people start seeing it move higher. Now, that is not something that I can predict. So, if you want to trade DWAC, you got to wait for the momentum train to start moving. AXP, American Express, it is slightly higher. It is slightly higher this morning. A little bit of financial strength. However, this chart's just too sideways for me right now. Look at this over the last 8 months. I don't know. This is not ideal here, guys. AXP is just not a ticker that you can accurately try to trade off of some type of trend, offer lower highs, lower lows. It's just not. It's not there. So it's completely sideways, and it's anyone's best guess what this is. I don't like trading stocks that look like this. So I would not touch that. GameStop, that looks like a really nice rejection right there. Look at that. Boy, that's clean. At least this one's giving us a trend, right? I would typically say don't trade GameStop and don't touch this, and because most people look at it for upside. But this is actually a stock that has been in a trend, right? There's a trend going on here, which is not, if you take the name away, that's a nice looking trend. If GameStop was in this range, I would say, hey, leave it alone. But look at this. Previous support, turns into resistance. That's clean stuff. And look at that rejection. That's really clean right there. So next level, you'd watch all-time lows. Or not all-time lows, low a day, or previous lows. And then look for that same thing. Look for that previous support into resistance, right? That's what you look for. So look for that same little formation that you see here. Look for that same formation on the next low. So that's a nice breakdown. Yeah, that's a nice looking rejection. Tesla, I think Tesla comes down to like the 760s. You guys can see 760s. You got the 20 SMA rejection right there. Rejection, 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 rejection. All these 20 SMA rejections. I don't see it getting above it. You still got weakness this morning down to 782. I think you got to come back down to these previous levels here around 760. That would be my honest assumption, honest opinion. So just watch that. Watch that around 760. That's what I would watch. Tesla. Last but not, we already did this. BIDU. Guys, we already looked at this one. I'm going to skip this one. I would just watch. You got a huge breakdown. Look at this. That's a knife. You ever seen a knife? This is a knife, guys. This is like a very nasty knife. How do you draw a knife? Falling knife with a little handle. This is a terrible drawing of a knife. Right there. There's your knife. You got, this is just nasty. Little butcher knife falling right through support. I'm gonna start drawing. That's my technical formation. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you want to come hang out in the Discord chat, come do so. You guys can check it out down below. Press the like button if you could. That would really help me out. That helps more than anything. Just get people to come hang out. Get people to watch the stream. Get people to the channel. I appreciate you guys. It's going to take you guys and your help to, continue to grow. If you guys do appreciate what we do here, then I would greatly appreciate you pressing the like button and subscribing. That would be fantastic. That's all you need to do. So thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic trading day. Be careful today and tomorrow. We have a huge day on Wednesday. You might as well just come here until that day. I don't need to say be careful. Hopefully I'll talk to you again before then. Come hang out tomorrow. Come hang out Wednesday morning. Let's prepare for this market together. Why does everyone talk about AMC? I'm not sure, Beauty. I'm really not sure. Because everyone's still stuck on Wall Street bets. That's where everyone's still stuck at. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Press the like button before you head out. Hope you have a great day. And I will see you tomorrow. That is a Porsche Lego. All right, guys. Peace out.